When my wife, Emily, and I packed up our lives and moved to Willow Creek, we thought we'd stumbled upon a slice of heaven. Picture it: shimmering water, cozy cabins that could grace the cover of a travel magazine, and neighbors who actually smiled as you drove by. I'm a freelance web developer, so I can work from anywhere with a decent Wi-Fi signal. Emily, well, she's always just said she works in community service, which I figured meant paperwork and meetings. We thought this quiet lakeside town would be our escape from the grind of city life. Boy, were we wrong about the quiet part. It was July 2023, and our first day in Willow Creek was going smoothly until she showed up. Her name was Margaret, the self-proclaimed queen of the Willow Creek Homeowners Association. She appeared at our doorstep like she'd been summoned by a neighborhood watch alarm, clutching a tray of cookies that screamed, "I spent too long on these." Margaret was in her late 50s, with hair so meticulously styled it probably had its own morning routine. Her smile was all teeth, no warmth like a wolf sizing up its prey. "Welcome to Willow Creek," she chirped, thrusting the cookies at us. "I'm Margaret, president of the HOA. Everyone here joins to keep our community pristine and our property values soaring." It wasn't an invitation, it was a command, delivered with the same tone my mom used when I was 10 and dodging chores. Emily, always the diplomat, accepted the cookies with a polite nod. She's better at handling people than I am. But when Margaret launched into her spiel about mandatory fees and community standards, I caught a flicker in Emily's eye's subtle tightening, like when someone cuts her off in traffic. I've been married to her for 9 years. I know that look. It's the one she gets when someone's about to regret pushing her. "Thank you, Margaret," Emily said, her voice smooth but firm. "We'll need time to review the documents before deciding." Margaret's smile twitched, like a glitch in her perfect facade. "Review?" she said, as if the word was foreign. "Everyone joins. It's how we do things here." Emily held her ground, calm as ever. "We prefer to keep our decisions private for now. We're just here to enjoy the lake." The air on our porch turned icy. Margaret's fake smile vanished, replaced by a stare that could have curdled milk. "That's not how Willow Creek works," she said, each word clipped. "Participation isn't optional." I stepped up beside Emily, trying to defuse the tension. "We appreciate the visit, Margaret. We'll let you know." Her eyes flicked between us, calculating, like she was memorizing our faces for a hit list. "Fine," she snapped, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "You have a couple of days to come around. But there are consequences for ignoring community standards." By morning, we learned what consequences meant. Slipped under our door was a letter on fancy HOA letterhead, demanding $250 for a dock violation because our canoe was tied to our own pier. Emily read it twice, then glanced out at our canoe, bobbing innocently in the water. "Curious," she murmured, a hint of amusement in her tone. I waved the letter, exasperated. "Aren't you worried? This woman's unhinged." Emily folded the paper neatly and set it on the counter. "I deal with people like her at work, James. Bullies always overplay their hand." Her confidence was reassuring but baffling. How was she so calm about a neighbor threatening us over a canoe? Margaret's campaign escalated fast. By noon, our phones were buzzing with forwarded messages from a neighborhood chat we didn't even know existed. "New couple thinks they're above the rules. Disrespecting our values. Entitled outsiders ruining our peace." It was a public shaming, orchestrated by people we hadn't even met. I was livid, but Emily read the messages with an eerie calm, like she was analyzing a puzzle. "How's she getting away with this?" I demanded. "She's bullying us to the whole town." Emily set her phone down. "She's done this before, James. People like her practice on others first." The way she said practice sent a chill down my spine. My wife knew things I didn't, and it was starting to unsettle me. That weekend, we hosted a small barbecue by the lake to meet some neighbors who weren't under Margaret's spell. It was just burgers, beers, and a sunset painting the water gold. For a moment, I remembered why we'd moved here. Then sirens pierced the calm. A police car rolled up to our house, and my stomach sank. Had we done something wrong? Officer Sanchez, a young guy with a professional but kind demeanor, approached our quiet gathering. "Evening, folks. Got a noise complaint." I glanced at our tiny Bluetooth speaker, barely audible over the breeze, and nearly laughed. It wasn't even 7 p.m. But then I noticed Sanchez looking at Emily with a flicker of recognition. "Boss, he said under his breath. Want me to handle this? Emily gave a subtle shake of her head. Let her dig deeper. Don't blow my cover yet. Boss. Cover? My brain short-circuited. Before I could process, Margaret stormed over, waving her arms like a general charging into battle. Officer, thank goodness. These people are destroying our tranquility. Sanchez listened to her rant about our rowdy barbecue with the patience of a saint. Ma'am, he said finally, this music's well below ordnance levels, and it's not even curfew. Also, filing false reports is a serious offense. Margaret's face froze, but she recovered, puffing up. False. I'm the HOA president. I've run this community for 4 years. Sanchez just nodded, his expression screaming, I'm done with this. After he left, our guest slipped away, and I cornered Emily. He called you boss. What's going on? She shrugged, gazing at the lake. Small town, James. People know each other. It was a non-answer that explained nothing. The next week was a social experiment gone wild. Half the neighborhood shunned us. The other half sent covert support soup from Mrs. Carter, away from Tom across the lake. Then Tuesday morning, our canoe was gone, chained to the community dock with a note. Defy the HOA. Lose more than a boat. I was furious, but Emily was eerily methodical, snapping photos of the chain, the lock, the handwriting. Predictable escalation, she said, like she was reading a playbook. Mrs. Carter, passing by, mentioned seeing Margaret and 2 others with a trailer at dawn. Then she paused, studying Emily. Your name, Emily Harris, it's familiar. Were you in the news? Something about taking down a shady HOA in Colorado. Emily froze, just for a second. Long time ago, she said quietly. Different place. Margaret's second 911 call came days later, accusing us of stealing community property, our own canoe. Sanchez arrived with Sergeant Thompson, an older officer with a no-nonsense vibe. Margaret pointed at our canoe, now back on our dock, and demanded our arrest. Thompson asked for proof the canoe was HOA property. Margaret's official papers didn't impress her. These are internal documents, ma'am. Got anything legal? As Margaret floundered, Sanchez whispered to Emily, Boss, this is ridiculous. Shut it down. Emily shook her head. Not yet. We need the full pattern. Then Thompson asked me for proof of ownership. I showed receipts, photos, everything. But when she suggested I come to the station for a statement, my heart raced. Handcuffs clicked around my wrists, and for a moment, I thought I was done for over a canoe we owned. Emily's calm cracked. That's enough, she said, her voice cutting through the air like a blade. She pulled out an ID and badge, addressing Thompson. Sergeant, check with your supervisor about this case's jurisdiction. Thompson studied the ID, her eyes widening. The handcuffs came off me, and Margaret's rage boiled over. Why is she acting like she's in charge? She shrieked. Thompson's radio crackled with words like sheriff and verify authority. Margaret's face was a kaleidoscope of panic and denial. The HOA's emergency meeting that Saturday was a circus. Margaret had set up tables with documents, like she was prosecuting a high-profile case. These individuals, she declared, pointing at us, threaten our community's foundation. But the crowd wasn't buying it. Mrs. Carter and Tom questioned her, and Emily stood, holding a folder that radiated authority. Let's talk about your HOA's legal status, she said, her voice steady but commanding. She laid out damning evidence. No state incorporation, no legitimate elections, no authority to collect fees. The crowd gasped. Neighbors realized they'd been scammed for years. Margaret's protests grew desperate, her face crimson. Then she made her fatal move. Another 911 call, claiming we were threatening her. 3 patrol cars arrived, lights flashing. Sergeant Thompson took charge, but Emily stepped forward, badge in hand. Sergeant, we need to discuss jurisdiction. Thompson's jaw dropped as she read the ID. Sheriff Harris, she said, the word echoing. Margaret's world collapsed. She can't be a sheriff. She has a canoe. Emily Harris faced her down. Sheriffs live in neighborhoods too, ma'am. And filing false reports is a felony. Sanchez cuffed Margaret, who screamed about entrapment and lawsuits. The crowd erupted in applause, phones recording the chaos. Mrs. Carter whispered, "Thank you." To Emily. Tom shouted, "Best meeting ever." As the police cars drove off, I turned to Emily. I'm married to the sheriff. She gave a sheepish smile. Surprise? I just wanted to be Emily here, not Sheriff Harris. The neighborhood transformed overnight. Without Margaret's tyranny, Willow Creek became a true community potlucks, fishing trips, kids playing freely. Margaret faced charges, fraud, harassment, false reports. She owed $20,000 in restitution, plus community service and a 5-year HOA ban. Emily had let her dig her own grave, using patience and truth to topple a bully. But here's the thing, Margaret's still out there, vowing revenge from the back of that patrol car. Did Emily play fair, or was this entrapment? Should she have revealed her badge sooner? Could Margaret actually sue? Drop your thoughts below, hit like, subscribe, and tell me, what's the wildest neighborhood drama you've seen? Who's the real villain here?